right. And now, for the very last thing that we're going to do today, we would like to present you with an exciting video that I was also a part of. Now let's move something that is very close to my heart, and I've been personally involved in going plastic neutral and fish bomb free. So just to relax and unwind a little bit, let's watch this video presented by my friend Simon over here, who will be joining soon on stage. But let's watch the video first, shall we?
Hello, Malaysia. My name is David Attenborough, and I'm a naturalist, and I've travelled around the world making films for more than 65 years. Once we thought that the world's oceans were so vast and its inhabitants so infinitely numerous that nothing we did could affect them. But now we are seeing a new side to the oceans. As a filmmaker, I've been hugely privileged to travel the world and celebrate the wonders beneath the ocean's surface, including off Malaysia, one of my favourite places for war. Sabah and Sarawak have over 550 species of coral. Peninsular Malaysia, seagrass beds, their very own spectacular plants and other marine life, critical for the survival of your endangered dugongs and sea turtles. But in recent years, I've witnessed firsthand that plastic waste is destroying marine life the world over. What's so tragic about plastic pollution is that it is so totally unnecessary. The plastic in our oceans should never have found its way there in the first place. A staggering 8 million tons of plastic now ends up in our oceans every year. This is a disaster. Blue Planet 2's crew saw plastic everywhere they filmed. And once it's in the sea, it stays there and it doesn't go away. But this catastrophic damage to our oceans is reversible, and nature can recover if we give it a chance. While the actions of just one of us, you, may seem to be so very small with really no effect at all, in fact, knowing there are hundreds of thousands of people all doing the same thing is starting to have a truly positive effect. Every single one of us now needs to think, and I mean really think, about how we use plastic. So, I strongly urge you all to treat plastic with care, because if it reaches the environment, it will stay there for a very long time, if not forever, and ultimately affect us all. Every one of us should be extremely proud of their natural heritage and passionate to protect and conserve it and ensure that it remains around for future generations. We all have a responsibility to care for our planet. The future of humanity, and indeed all life on Earth, now depends on us. Thank you very much, and good luck.
The legendary Sir David Attenborough leaving a personal message to Malaysia. We are very, very lucky and honored. And Simon Christopher is very much in contact with Sir David, and you are lucky for that, okay? I'm very jealous. It would be my dream to meet David. Okay, would you like to, can I invite you up on stage? And perhaps your esteemed guests as well? That's the last round. It won't be a forum, just a friendly chat. Esteemed guests, I'd like to inform you that, unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, Yang Berbahagia Datuk Sri Dr. Jeffrey Kitingan, Deputy Chief Minister and MAFI Minister, is unable to join us today. However, we are fortunate to have Muhammad Anwar bin Abdul Ghani, Political Secretary to Yang Berbahagia Datuk Sri Dr. Jeffrey Kitingan, who will be presenting on his behalf. Please extend a warm welcome to Muhammad Anwar, who will be delivering a small speech.
Thank you, Maya. I am the Political Secretary to Yang Berhormat Datuk Sri Panglima Dr. Jeffrey Kitingan, the CM #1, and also Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Food Industry of Sabah. He couldn't make it today because he had matters of state to attend to. So I'm sent to deliver his speech. So I guess I'll start with the salutations. Yang berbahagia, Datuk Muhammad Rafiz bin Abdul Mumin, Deputy Secretary General, Ministry of Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change. She's not here, but Her Excellency Eba Oskam, Deputy Ambassador of the Netherlands to Malaysia, Mr. Dirk Taichat, Managing Director for Control Union Asia Holdings, Mr. Supun Nigamuni, Managing Director, Control Union Malaysia, Ms. Oriani Weiser, Program Manager for Global Sustainable Enterprise System and Data for Good, Tan Sri Shamsul Bahar, Group CEO of Malaysian Green Technology and Climate Change Corporation, Mr. Marco Winter is not here as well, and Mr. Denis Baresh, Minister Council from the EU, and Ms. Emmanuel Machon, representative from the Embassy of France. Yang berbahagia Tan Sri, Datuk-Datuk, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, session chairs, moderators, speakers, delegates, and friends of the media. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening. And Kopi Bosian is a greeting in Dusun in Sabah. We all dream of a better world, whether we are here in KL or in Sabah or elsewhere in the world. We desire a more prosperous, sustainable, safe, and peaceful future for us and our generations to come. To me, this is what development is all about, and this is why I joined politics. Looking at the current global trends, I think we humans are paying a heavy price for our unsustainable ways of living. In pursuit of what we call development, we have detached ourselves from nature, which is the very source of our existence. If we take time to reflect deeper, all the wars and conflicts, hatred and suspicion we have for one another, our overconsumption that continues to put pressure on natural resources, and our absurd dependence and glorification of the techno world simply point to one thing, that we have all lost our true humanity. We seriously need a spiritual transformation. By spiritual, I do not mean religion, but a deep sense of understanding or awakening. We can do this by asking the right questions, like, who am I? What is my purpose in the universe? In mysticism, these are questions that lead to the path towards enlightenment. We all don't have to be mystics. We just need to be more human. And I believe that part of being human is to be able to differentiate what truly matters to our existence and what is not. I'm sure many of you would agree with me that we are living in a noisy and chaotic world today. It is as if humans are in a race that does not seem to have a finish line. Just look at the advancement of technology. We might ask, when will we have enough? We reach a point where we say everything is at our fingertips. I call it the button technology. Just one press and presto. Soon, our fingers will be jobless, for they are not needed to press anything. All done by machines, AI, blockchain, algorithm, machine learning, IoT, among others. And mind you, these machines are learning every second to claim an artificial life of its own. Some say it's scary, most call it progress. But for others, we just follow the flow and enjoy the ride, for better or for worse. I have always emphasized that we cannot afford to take a business as usual approach in the way we live and do things because of all the fast evolving situations and trends in the world right now. In relation to this, I speak for my home region, Sabah. As you all probably know or don't know, Sabah is the poorest region in the entire Federation of Malaysia. 8 out of the 10 poorest districts in the country are in Sabah. Our GDP per capita is half that of the national average. Yet, quite ironically, we are rich in natural resources like oil and gas, forestry, and the ocean. One might ask why this is so. The answers can be found in our political history, which I will not delve in today. Sabah is also the sickest state, being #1 in thalassemia and also tuberculosis. We also have the lowest rate of literacy and the highest rate in unemployment. Also, being an island, we have been identified as the state most susceptible to climate change. As Sabahans, we have a choice to make. We can either continue to lament about our sorry state or rise to the occasion to create our own future instead of always being at the mercy of the external and more dominant political or economic forces. To move stronger forward, we need to sharpen our innovative thinking skills. We need to cultivate a think outside the box way of thinking and doing things. That way, we can see opportunities to create wealth and prosperity. To me, the way to go is by returning to Mother Nature, our source of abundance. Because of this realization, I cannot stress enough that Sabah's development must be built around the concept of conservation, regeneration, and circularity. I am proud to say that we have already taken steps in moving forward, all in line with sustainability, however you define it. Some of our initiatives that I can list here include our commitment to have 30% totally protected areas, TPAs, by 2025, and maintaining 64% of our lands in our state with forests. The other is the Nature Conservation Agreement, the NCA, which revenue from carbon credits can help to raise income, create economic opportunities, and eliminate poverty in Sabah. That is SDG #1. Touching on carbon, it was stated that Malaysia's carbon policy was reported to be put in place by this year. Sabah and Sarawak, at the first climate change meeting this year in October, proposed that they be allowed to set up their own policies. Carbon is a forest produce arising from land under Section 2 of the Sabah Forest Enactment 1968. Similarly, also in Sarawak Forest Enactment. Land is a matter under the state list in the Federal Constitution. Articles 74 and 77, 9th Schedule, list 2 items 2 and 3. It has been agreed by the federal and the state governments that the state will control carbon, while the federal government plays a monitoring role to oversee compliance with the NDC, the National Determined Contribution, pursuant to the Paris Agreement. With regards to the NCA that was signed, the Sabah government is wholly committed to it, and we are in implementation mode. More recently, I had the privilege of attending a brainstorming online session with Blue Hope and Stop Fish-Bombing Malaysia, together with the ambassadors from the EU and Germany to Malaysia. We discussed how Sabah can be more organized, structured, and strategic in advancing our sustainable development vision and mission together. We propose the setting up of a Blue Economy Steering Committee that will oversee the sustainable use of ocean resources to benefit the economy, people's livelihood, and health of the ocean ecosystem. I am so inspired by this event and by the initiative taken by organizations like Blue Hope and Stop Fish-Bombing Malaysia, both of whom incidentally are championed by Sabahans. in trying to deal with critical issues like plastic pollution in the rivers and ocean and destructive fish bombing. These irresponsible human activities do not only hurt nature but also impact our food security system, economy, and livelihood. Ladies and gentlemen, Sabah needs to explore and create new economic values and value chains to basically overcome poverty and to elevate us to a greater income bracket. One of the opportunities for us to achieve this is through the building of a circular economy, starting with the tons of plastic waste we have in our oceans. I understand that Blue Hope has been working hard to connect the dots together by establishing a supply chain where plastic waste that are released into the environment are captured and turned into products of value such as new construction materials. This is a simple yet brilliant idea. I believe that when scaled up, it can potentially contribute significantly to Sabah's GDP. And better yet, it is a sustainable economic activity that ticks off the boxes in terms of environmental conservation, community inclusion, and monetary gain. Or, in other words, planet, people, and profit, the 3 Ps, in support of one another. What Blue Hope aims to do is to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, so to speak, where the collection of plastic waste and actual products from upcycling can become the carrot to balance the fish bombing stick, as the alternative livelihood being a brilliant and practical idea. As we know, communities need to feed their families, and instead of bombing fish that endangers themselves and destroy our source of food security, they will now have an alternative source of income. As the saying goes, one man's trash is another man's gold. I've also been made to understand that this strategy will incentivize the communities, in this case the Bajau Laut, to become guardians of Sabah Seas and the wider Coral Triangle. If we can achieve this, Sabah will become the first to empower a marginalized group of people as champions of conservation and protect the ocean that we all benefit from as inhabitants of this earth. On this, we can put a tick on the assisting and empowering indigenous people. The Sabah government supports civil society initiatives like this and is ever willing to collaborate with them as they are important partners of sustainable development. The soft launch of the Tunku Abdul Rahman Park and Kota Kinabalu Plastic Neutral and Fish-Bomb-Free Initiative today is a meaningful event that I believe will go a long way in setting Sabah on a strong path towards building a sustainable blue and circular economy. My view is that Sabah is on the verge of a major transformation, socially, economically, and politically. The narratives are all written on the wall. I see many industry players and investors in this conference whose attendance speaks volumes of how much they see the value of sustainability as key to profitability in their businesses. I hope you all can consider investing in Sabah and be our sustainable development partners. There is a saying that goes, saving the planet is big business. And one such primary place on the planet is Sabah. We need help. Lastly, I would like to thank and congratulate Control Union and Global Sustainable Enterprise System, and also the support given by the Embassy of the United Kingdom of Netherlands, the Malaysian Dutch Business Council, the Malaysian Green Technology and Climate Change Corporation, all sponsors and participants and staff who made this event possible. And with that, I thank you all and wish you all that you had a very good conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad Anwar. Our next speaker, I would like to invite to the rostrum Mr. Dennis Baresh, representing the European Union.
Thank you. Thank you. dear participants, dear colleagues. It's a pleasure and an honor to be with you today for this session devoted to the Tunku Abdul Rahman Marine Park and Kota Kinabalu Plastic Neutral and Fish-Bomb-Free Initiative. As has been amply discussed today, climate change and environmental degradation are an existential threat to humanity. Conferences like the one today are a reflection of a growing recognition of the magnitude of the challenge and of the need to act. In 2019, the European Union adopted the European Green Deal, an ambitious strategy to transform the EU into a low-carbon, resource-efficient and competitive economy that leaves no one behind. The Green Deal notably aims to make the EU's economy climate neutral by 2050. And as a first step, we aim to reduce net greenhouse gas emissions by 55% by 2030 compared to 1990 levels. Now, this is not trivial. This will require major efforts from both EU citizens and EU industries. Besides the engagement of the EU and its member states, the involvement of all segments of society will be essential. That's all levels of government, private businesses, and civil society organizations. The Green Deal aims to tackle a number of specific issues, whether it's biodiversity, protecting forests and the sea, recycling and the circular economy, promoting clean energies, etc. And to this end, we have a variety of instruments in our toolbox. Legislation is, of course, a key instrument. And let me mention some examples of EU legislation that do contribute already to decarbonization and to the environment at home and abroad. Now, you've heard, no doubt, and in fact, in the previous session, about the EU Deforestation Regulation, EUDR, which sets due diligence requirements for companies that import to the EU some 7 commodities, including palm oil and rubber, to prove that they are deforestation-free and legal. Another one is the Carbon Border Adjustment Measure, CBAM, which aims to prevent carbon leakage by progressively requiring companies that import carbon-intensive products, such as cement, steel, or fertilizers, from places where decarbonization requirements are less strict than in the EU, to buy certificates. There's, of course, the EU directive on single-use plastic products, which bans 10 single-use plastic products for which sustainable alternatives are easily available and affordable, such as cotton bud sticks, cutlery, or straws, while limiting the use of other single-use plastics with a view to reducing the release of microplastics into the environment. And I would also like to mention the coming EU Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive, which would require large companies operating in the EU to identify and address adverse human rights and environmental impacts in their operations, as well as those of their subsidiaries and value chains. Now, international cooperation is part and parcel of the EU's approach, whether through dialogue with partner countries or support to initiatives led by stakeholders. And that includes civil society organizations, including in Malaysia. And in this respect, I would like to highlight the EU-funded project Community Action for Fish-Bomb-Free Sempurna Seas, Sabah, which I believe is a good example of how the EU can work hand in hand with civil society and local communities. And we've all seen pictures of the ocean, beautiful ocean, marine life, and islands around Sempurna, but there's also a darker side: plastic pollution and fish bombing. Now, this is not only damaging to marine resources, it also threatens the preservation of a natural environment, which is priceless. The project focuses on fish bombing, but with the understanding that the underlying cause is poverty. People resort to using this destructive method because they have families to feed. It's a livelihood issue as much as an environmental one. Now, first trend of activity of a project will finance bomb detection and monitoring systems to provide enforcement agencies with real-time data for immediate response. But one cannot put an end to this without providing an alternative income for local communities. The project, therefore, has two additional components. The Plastic Neutral Initiative will engage with women, men, and youth and instigate plastic waste collection and sorting hubs for recycling. This will be complemented by providing local fishing communities with new skills and incentives for sustainable marine resource use, notably in relation to hatchery production and ocean farming of giant clams and abalone. We're proud of supporting this innovative project. It will run for 4 years until the end of 2026, and the first concrete actions took place in May 2023. I would also like to take this opportunity to draw your attention to the EU's call for proposal under the Civil Society Organizations Program for Malaysia, which was launched on 26 October 2023. The focus is on enhancing civil society organizations' contribution to governance and development processes, which is quite broad. The deadline for submitting proposals is the 19th of December, so don't miss it. With this, I wish you all more fruitful discussions and actions towards net zero and the preservation of the environment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, representing the French Embassy, I would like to invite over Ms. Emmanuelle Marchand, and after which my friend, Mr. Simon Christopher, founder and great, let's say, soldier of Blue Hope, will be giving his remarks as well. So please, Ms. Emmanuelle, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Selamat petang, bonjour, and a very good afternoon to all of you. First of all, I would like to thank Simon Christopher from Blue Hope for inviting me to this event, and I'm very honored to be here with you today. In less than a month, on December 12th, 2023, this will mark the 8th anniversary of the adoption of the Paris Agreement. It was the exceptional mobilization of the international community that led to the adoption of the first universal climate agreement. But now we are all looking to the future, and the future lies in strengthening the commitments of the parties to the agreement so that its objectives can be achieved. But the future also lies in cooperation with non-state actors, such as Blue Hope, who are also taking very important initiatives on the ground. So when Simon came, I think 3 years ago, to the French Embassy with the Water is Life project, for us we were immediately interested because it was about delivering safe and plastic-free water to the school children all over Sabah, along with an educational program. And it also involved having filters that are very sustainable and using like a French technology, the Orisa filters. Simon brought an example today if you want to have a look. So for us, it was really important to fund this, this project because we thought, and we still think that oceans needs to play a major role in the fight against climate change. And all this plastic neutral, of course, has a big influence on the oceans because they are very impacted by climate change, with the sea level rise, the acidification, or the coral bleaching. And it's also very important for us because France has a presence in each of the world's oceans. And that is why we are particularly invested in the movement to ensure that oceans are protected and used responsibly. France will organize the third United Nations Conference on Oceans in Nice in June 2025, jointly with Costa Rica. It will be a follow-up on the first and second United Nations conferences on the oceans that were held in New York in 2017 and in Lisbon in June 2022. Actually, we are very proud as the French Embassy to be part of this plastic neutral movement. In France also, we are trying to make some efforts in order to tackle this issue. For instance, since January 2017, single-use plastic bags have been banned from French stores in accordance with our Energy Transition for Green Growth Act that was signed in August 2015. And to give you an example, as of January 1st, 2020, France has started to ban disposable plates and cups, cotton swabs, and plastic water bottles used in schools. All the single-use plastic packaging will be progressively phased out by 2040. And this will help us to transition to the circular economy. We are also particularly concerned about the melting of the polar ice caps and glaciers. This is why we have just organized the One Polar Summit from November 8th to 10th as part of the Paris Peace Forum to strengthen international mobilization. This issue also concerns us all because all the coastal states like France and Malaysia will be affected by the melting ice. And the outcomes of this One Polar Summit will be presented at COP28. That is why today I would like to congratulate this new initiative of the Tunku Abdul Rahman Marine Park and KK Plastic Neutral and Fish-Bombing initiative. To us, it is particularly relevant as 2021 to 2030 has been proclaimed by the United Nations as the decade of ocean science for sustainable development. And this initiative is really a great innovative solution as we urgently need a healthier, more resilient, and more sustainable ocean. More generally, France is willing to work with Malaysian authorities, companies, and NGOs in order to enhance our efforts on climate change and biodiversity. Together, we can redouble our efforts to preserve the Paris Agreement. We can consolidate objectives and coalitions for land and marine protected areas. Also make sure that the ocean and polar issues are placed on the international agenda, and we can build new partnerships with all the continents on certain important issues like tropical forests. I will stop here, but thank you very much for your attention, and if you have any question, don't hesitate. Thank you.
Hi, yeah, thank you so much for your support. I think we've run out of time, so I'm just going to play a video from our Mabel Plastic Neutral, which is with Maya Corinne. We're starting down in Semporn on the Semporn of Plastic Neutral Fish-Bomb-Free project with the EU support. So thank you very much to the EU and to Michaelis Rokas, who's been a big fan of ours. Unfortunately, he can't be with us tonight. We're going to play one video, and big thanks to Maya, who's a big champion on this project. And we're looking to these are small steps towards Sabah plastic neutral and ultimately Malaysia plastic neutral. So I prepared a lovely speech, and I was going to say lots of things about it, but we can talk during the cocktails. So please, we're looking for supporters for all the different schools, lots of opportunity to participate, coming at a global platform. So really keen to talk with you all, see how you can get involved. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to Control Union, and we're just going to play plastic neutral, but mobile plastic neutral. Thank you.
Hi everybody, good morning from Marble Island. I am here for a few little projects. Number one, we are celebrating Marble World Turtle Day. So for Marble World Turtle Day, we are on an expedition 4 days long to go into the sea, capture some turtles, do the necessary medical things, measurements, statistics, figure them out, tag them, and release them into the water ASAP. It's exciting, it's challenging, and it's very satisfying. We all hope that we will get good results from what we are doing here today. This whole area over here that you see is going to be turned into a collection and recycling center servicing the entire island. So hopefully, with the funding that we have received, we'll have something wonderful and positive established here in a few years' time. Selamat datang ke Pulau Marble! Marble Plastic Neutral!
A big round of applause to Simon and the EU ambassador as well as the French embassy for actually supporting this initiative. So when we connected 2 years back, we were discussing about it, that this is a real nice project which has the education element, because we have to start with our younger generations with a lot of education and making schools a collection hub for plastics and connecting it to upcycling, and also providing alternative livelihood opportunities for the people involved in fish bombing, and also setting up fish bombing sensors to prevent fish bombing from happening, so we actually protect the oceans. Simon, a big thank you from everyone, whole Malaysia, for the efforts that you are doing. And as I explained in the beginning, we, as organizers of this event, we did it as a not-for-profit event. We raised money with our generous sponsors, and we made a commitment that we are going to contribute whatever the profits that we made to a worthy charity. And you have actually been the recipient of the check that we are going to hand over to you. It's just going to be ceremonial, because this kind of efforts will actually take so much effort, so much resources. So I would urge all the companies to actually come forward, pick up a school in Sabah, install the water filters, give the reusable bottles to these children, support the educational program. So we create the schools as collection hubs, and we support upcycling. So we make Sabah plastic neutral. And this is actually part of a bigger project, which is the Coral Triangle, which you're talking about, from Malaysia to Philippines to Timor-Leste to Indonesia. So let's do what we can, and let's set an example. If each of the companies can pick up one school, I think this initiative will actually be a success in no time. With that, I would like to actually call upon all our sponsors, Orion, Dirk, Marco, Unidan, Taufik. We have Puan Nurul from FGV, Dr. Gesa, Raja and Mano, my colleagues. On stage, Marco, please, to hand over a ceremonial, did I miss out anyone? And where are our beautiful ladies from Sabah, dressed in the traditional Sabah attires. Yeah, these are the filters that we are actually going to give to the school, so this can be plugged very easily. And this basically not just a mud filter, but it actually generates drinking water. So thank you for the French Embassy as well as the European Embassy to support in this initiative to launching the Symphono Plastic Neutrality. Let's make KK and Tunku Abdul Rahman Marine Park the same. So on behalf of the organizing committee and everyone here, all the very best. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. We discussed beginning, we are going to actually measure everything and we are going to communicate. If I can have Orion and Mansi just to show our event dashboards and what we have actually done with the particular event. So the carbon calculations will actually be ongoing. So this will be finalized hopefully tomorrow or day after. And then we will actually buy the necessary offsets with nature-based solutions and then basically make it a carbon neutral event.
Hello.
While we are setting that up, I would like to actually thank some of very special people who have actually made this event a reality. I would like to call on the co-organizing team on stage who basically made tireless days and nights getting this event through. I would like to have Nicole, Denise, Ashwin, Ebnu, and last but not least, fantastic Dinusha, who was actually the project manager for this and basically making this a reality. If I can have all of you and all the other colleagues from Control Union and GSCS systems to actually come forward just to take a quick snap. We have the dashboards. Maybe Orion, while the team comes in.
Please, Mansi.
Yes, thank you, Oriane. First of all, thank you everyone for the event today and coming in and joining. So something exciting our dashboard does is also measures events. Yes, you heard that right. We have an event module in the GSCS platform where we measure events with standardized and sector-specific KPIs as well. So we're going to show you a glimpse of it. And this event is also sustainable, so let's see how it is sustainable. Let me show you the dashboard. So as you can see on your screen, we have an event dashboard which is based on the green event standard that GSCS created with the Johan Cruyff Arena Stadium in the Netherlands. And you can see here, we have a little bit of information on your venue, on your name, and the event details on the left-hand side. You can also see the environmental impact of your event on your right side, which is very cool because you get to see energy use, water use, and waste produced during the event. You can also see the carbon footprint budget over here, the event budget, and the post-event. So when you click on this button, post-event, as you can see here, we have the total carbon equivalent. and then the event budget mentioned here for Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions. On the right side, you can actually see, sorry, yours is left. On your left side, you can see the Global Sustainable Venue Benchmark, which is based on 7 pillars. I think you already got information on the pillars from GSES presentation. So I'm just gonna show you a quick glimpse again. Each pillar has its own specification and based on an ISO standard. We can see information on pillar by simply clicking on it and have a little bit of gist of text about it. When you click on the report, you will be directed to the report of that particular pillar, which would look something like this. So you have all your KPIs in terms of questions on your left side, and the answers that belongs to that particular question that the assessment has been filled on. And the context is basically the ISO that the particular question complies by. And there are around 12 questions, as you can see on your screen. Once that's done, I'll go back to the scorecard. And we have the supply chain event, which is present on the left side, and the supported SDGs that this event is complied by is also available. That information is also on the scorecard. And if you want to create an event, you simply have to create an event, and you'll be redirected to a page where you have options. So because this is a conference, you can also select concerts, sports matches, festivals, and etc. For an example, I think my colleague already explained to you that we measured the sustainability of Coldplay concert in the Netherlands, and we also created a similar dashboard for them. So yeah, here's our platform glimpse, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Give it up for the awesome ladies of GSES Systems.
Thank you very much.
And let's take a quick picture. And thank you very much for staying until 6, already past 6, and I think I need a drink. And also being responsible when there are 2 types of beer, you have the 0.0 as well. So if you're driving, please have a 0.0. Let's take a quick snap and let's head on to the cocktail area. Thank you very much. Big
Thank
round
you
of
all.
applause for everyone.